What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you to Knicks Deli, baby. Welcome. I'm going to get it together. It's at nighttime already. I want to welcome you to Knicks Deli. I'm your host, Sheer, and you already know we are first to many and second to no one when covering the news, team views, and the who's who surrounding our New York Knicks. So welcome to my channel. Been off for a couple of days. Been away. There's some things going on in Knicks Nation we want to dive into. But primarily, we want to dive into the topic of this live today. So we want to talk about how the Knicks fans sparked the ESPN purge that we see.
We circling the block. We spinning the block.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. We circling the block and we spinning the block. You never want to kick a person when they fall, and you never want to see anybody lose their jobs. They're going to be all right. But I want to talk about the role that we played in that. I'm going to help you make it make sense because I've been listening. I've been listening to other content creators. I've been listening to the major media who are now on YouTube as well and on their shows, and everybody's hitting their head trying to figure it out. But I'm going to tell you how I predicted it. I predicted it a year ago from today, around the same time that I started this channel. I called it, and watch it come to fruition. Stradamus is back. And I'm validated. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to also talk about the New York Knicks and how we've recently reignited the rivalry with the Indiana Pacers as a result of trading our boy away. We're going to get into that. So, you're here at Knicks Deli. If you're here for the first time, if you're checking out my channel, you came across the title of the video, Knicks Deli, you want to know what it is, we're going to tell you what it is. First and foremost, if you're here for the first time, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining me. Okay? We got a great show for you today. So do me a favor. Throughout this show, if you like what you hear, engage. This is what we're about here at Knicks Deli. You're now part of the Knicks Deli community, the KD community. So engage with us. Leave comments in the comments section. Hit that like button. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so that you know anytime I'm dropping new content. Okay? Now if you're returning to the channel. Yeah. My SB community. Welcome back, baby. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for rocking with me from day one. We building this thing out. We definitely gonna make our mark in the Knicks YouTube community. And we roll deep. So shout out to you. I want to thank you for coming back and joining me. You already know what to do. You already know to engage. You already know to start leaving your comments. I'm going to get at you. We're going to get at these haters. And speaking of the haters, you can't have those people who are new and curious about what it is you do, like the little bit of graphics, maybe checked out a couple of videos and vibe with what you do. You can't just have those people. You just can't have the people who rock with you in the KD community. Roll with you, maybe agree with most of your point. You just can't have those people. If you ain't got the ops. We see you. I see you in the comments section. I see you checking out the video. guess what? You rocking with the best, baby. And we circling the block.
We circling the block.
And we spinning the block. But you know what? You're welcome here too. Knicks Deli, we here for everybody. Okay? Friend or foe, we want the smoke. And the smoke is exactly what we bring into you today. Courtesy of our New York Knicks and the fans helping purge ESPN of their talent. Yes, we're behind that. And also reigniting the rivalry with the Indiana Pacers. I returned back to New York at the right time. I spent 7 years in Indiana checking out Knicks games. It was a beautiful thing. I ain't even going to front. I ain't even going to hold you. It was a beautiful thing being out there for seven years, because every Knicks game I went to, I was in like section 2, right behind the New York Knicks bench, paying like $250 for a ticket. And I got receipts. I got pictures of the back of the. I was close enough to see the ball spot of Tip's head. Pause. Shout out to Indiana Pacers. They treated me well while I was out there. But check it out. I'm back. Okay? We're going to show our guys some love, but we're going to get into it. Before we get into this show, I do it every time, man. I can't do anything on this show. I can't grow the way we have, getting close to 1,000 subs. Can't do none of that without the KD community. So I just want to start out the show by something I do called She is Top 5. Top 5, dead or alive. So this is when I give a shout out to 5 new and returning members of the SB community. So first and foremost, let me give a shout out. Let me give a shout out to, what is it? God Hill Aesthetic. Let's go. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Also, let me give a shout out to Agent Super Argo, my guy. Yeah, Agent Super Argo, let's go. Shout out to you. Shout out to Eddie Kerr. Yeah, I'm going crazy. I'm as annoying as Flex with this bomb right now. Shout out to you. Shout out to Harlem Girl. Always supporting. Always engaging with the content. Shout out to you. And shout out to Aaron the writer. Let's go. Yeah. So do me a favor. Remember to like, subscribe to this video. You already know we do this for the love of it. We do this for our team. But any of the engagement that you provide helps with the channel, helps with the algorithm, gets me before more people. So I appreciate any effort in you doing your part tonight to help build this channel. But let's get into this. What are we here for? So I want to talk about how the New York Knicks fans help spark the ESPN purge that we're seeing. Everybody's going crazy. Everybody's whispering, talking about who's next, talking about who got cut. Jalen Rose out. Jeff Van Gundy out. Everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen with Malika Andrews. Everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen with Stephen A. Smith. Oh, yeah. I'm like, yo, listen, you getting rid of quality people making hefty salaries. But there's one person right now who's been in the spotlight, and it seems to be targeting a lot of people that look like us.
This bitch.
I'm just saying, I better see a pink slip. But that's neither here nor there. But I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about renewing the rivalry with the Indiana Pacers as a result of Obi Toppin being traded. So if you're new to Knicks Deli, I want to thank you. I want to explain how this works. Here at Knicks Deli, I am the proprietor. I am the owner of Knicks Deli. My name is Sheer. I am your host. But here at Knicks Deli, there are only 4 items on the menu. First item on the menu is the bacon, egg, and cheese. And if you've ever been to New York, you already know it's a staple of New York. It's a classic. Okay? And the bacon, egg, and cheese, you got to go. If you're trying to visit or if you're a fan of the Knicks, but you've never been here, when you get here, you got to go in there, go into the deli, and ask for a bacon, egg, and cheese, right? You can't ask for a bacon, egg, and a cheese. You can't do it that way. It's one word, bacon, egg, and cheese. And the bacon, egg, and cheese during the regular season are what are the three ingredients? Who are the three players that when combined made that thing bust? So we're going to look at 3 topics that are related to our New York Knicks that are in the news that has us buzzing right now. So that's going to be the first thing we cover. We're going to cover the bacon, egg, and cheese. Next, we're going to talk about what is the dollar slice. Everybody knows New York has the best pizza in the world. Okay, I said it. New York has the best. Chicago that's a damn lasagna dish. That ain't pizza. Everybody knows New York has the best pizza in the world. And if you're from New York and you grew up in New York, then you know the value of a dollar slice. That stabilizing piece. So we're going to look at what is a topic that's a stabilizing topic or maybe provided some instability for us. So we're going to look at that next. That's the second item on the menu. The third item on the menu is the chopped cheese. Now, the chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be busting. So we're going to talk about who is relatively new. What's a relatively new type of angle or something connected to our team, but we are sure that thing going to be busting. Okay? And lastly, the last item on the menu. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the chopped cheese. God damn it, you can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese if you ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here in Knicks Deli, the beverage of choice is the quarter water. God damn it. So the quarter water is something I'm going to cover briefly. During the season, it's who's come in and provided a spark of energy in a particular quarter or a little bit over a period of quarters to help us get over the top and get this victory. So those are some of the things that we're going to look at. Those are some of the things we're going to talk about. After that, we're going to do the nah, son, nah, you wildin' moment of the game. That's when we look at a topic or there's something that I want to talk about that makes you look at the screen sideways and say, nah, son, nah. You wildin'. Okay?
Nah, son, nah.
You wildin'. That's right. And then we're going to look at hot off the grill. And when we do hot off the grill, it's usually when we take a look at Reddit. And we look at the New York Knicks Reddit and we see what are other New York Knicks fans outside of Knicks Deli. What are they talking about? And then we chime in with a little bit of our commentary as well. So we got a hell of a show. And I got a hell of a ride. We might be here for about an hour. So you need to put the children and the women to bed. Well, I'm sorry, women who are in here who are Knicks fans as well. Stay up. Put them damn husbands to bed if they ain't Knicks fans. Okay? Come back on here and ride with me. We're going to cover this thing. I'm going to quarterback this thing, all right? So one of the first things, before I do, I'm sorry, last thing. Let me just hop in the comments. Give a shout out to who's here. My guy, Mike Lilly. What's going on, brother? What's up? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Always a supporter. We need to turn Mitch loose. Open up his hidden game. I agree. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Listen, whoever we decide to roll out there on the floor in the fall, I'm going to be confident that no matter what changes are made in the Eastern Mother Flipping Conference, we're going to be in the mix. We're going to be in the mix. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well. Shout out to Homer 1075. What's good, love and respect, fam? Yo, shout out to you. Welcome. Welcome back. Not welcome back. You're a regular here. You're part of the Knicks Deli community. Welcome back. Shout out to you as well. Lastly, but not least, Allah Wise. Peace, my brother. What's good? What is good? Okay? So, of course, we're going to start out the show by talking about the bacon, egg, and cheese. And who is the bacon? Of course, I got to show and give proper respect to the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese here today on Knicks Deli. And that can be no other than our guy. Oh, it hurts. Our guy, Obi Toppin. Good gosh. Obi mother flipping Toppin. Yo, throw your ones up for number one, Obi Toppin. Or if you're watching the video after, throw your ones in the chat for Obi Toppin. This brother here, man, it was tough. It was tough. It was tough to hear the news. We knew it was coming. You know, over the period of 3 years, you know, we've been on this ride with Obi, man. I keep reflecting on when he was drafted, bro. You know, and we weren't expected to get him. You know, we fell to number 8. I believe we had an opportunity where we were hoping to get a higher spot. But, you know, we fell and settled at number 8. And we really didn't think we would have an opportunity to get a player that was projected. I mean, he was the National Player of the Year. You know, that season was cut short. Had that season going on, he literally had that Dayton team primed to go for a championship, a national championship. So when Obi Toppin fell to our laps, you could tell Leon was ecstatic about it. Man, he was high-fiving. Y'all saw that clip of Leon high-fiving? Yo, he was hyped to get Obi Toppin, hometown kid, back in Dayton, a high flyer at the power forward position. We had our mercurial power forward who was coming off of a terrible season. Really coming off a terrible season, and the feeling was that we were going to move on from Julius. So what better gift can you receive than to get Obi Toppin, a young power forward who could slide right into that power forward position and fill the shoes of the power forward who would be going out. That was part of the initial plan. But even in that move and drafting them, you just got the feeling that Tom Thibodeau wasn't in the room as part of that. That was something that was in the back of Leon's mind to get that player and bring him in and then figure it out. But I remember him being drafted, and the conversation was surrounding his pops. You know, street ball legend. Him sitting on a couch between his dad and his mom. Had his brother, who is now a New York Knick, had his brother on a computer screen there representing him as he got drafted, and he couldn't hold back the emotion. He couldn't hold back the tears. That's what you wanted to see for far too long. These New York Knicks, I keep telling you, a lot of these stars, who are the stars in this NBA right now, they weren't born in the East Coast. They weren't born in New York. New York has had a drought in terms of producing superstar type of players. We were the MECCA for a reason. You couldn't talk about an all-star Hall of Fame point guard if you weren't talking about New York. So Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island, Long Island, upstate, what are you doing? We got to produce stars who come from New York so they have a desire to come back and play in New York. But for the last 20, 25 years, stars were coming from other parts of the country. And it's not that they didn't understand the value. It's not that they didn't, see they were afraid of this spotlight. They didn't want this smoke. Look at KD. Come on, man. A man of that talent gonna sidestep the Garden to go to Brooklyn. You trying to be in the livest city in the world, the largest basketball market in the NBA, and you trying to hide. Say what, everybody make whatever excuses you want for your king, LeBron James. But he thought he would outsmart himself. He wanted to control his entire narrative, but he wanted to ensure that he found a way to get multiple championships, team up with his friends, go to a team that had the space. We had a max and we had enough for a star, but that wasn't good enough. That didn't guarantee that he would win a championship. And listen, can't knock that man. Mayweather did the same thing. Controlled his narrative, picked and chose his fights at the right time, and he ended 50-0. But when you caught that backlash, and nobody saw that narrative like he was expecting the narrative to be seen, that's when he went on a 20-year, tirade of trying to on the New York Knicks. Him and Richard Jefferson on the bench bottle flipping on Madison Square Garden. Are you kidding me? So all y'all people talking about, listen, let's get Bronny and so that we can get one year of LeBron James. Never forget that. Never forget it. I don't care. I don't care if we lottery team and we ain't got no draft picks. I don't want them in the MECCA. That is the height. That was the height of disrespect. You're going to be on national TV and the game is still being played, and you bottle flipping on the garden floor. You out of your mind. But that's what happens when these small market kids come in, they rise to superstardom. But they ain't from here. They ain't built like us. But I'll tell you, there's that anti-New York bias that they got embedded in their spirit, which is why we're at a phenomenal time, because they don't want us to rise. They don't want us on the come up. They don't. They don't want us to win. They don't want us to be consistent. They don't want us to be patient. They don't want us to be about our business. They want us to be interviewed so we could stumble and they could hop on and get a story about how we stumbled or how they caught us, saying one thing and doing another or whatever. And listen, Leon Rose ain't about none of that. He ain't about none of that. He's doing it the right way. But I'm telling you, man, like it's a different spot. It's a different spot. And when Obi got drafted, he sat there on that couch and he cried between his two parents, man. I love that. Because I said, those are the type of players we now need to get in New York. Nobody was going to help us out. None of those players. Everybody was following LeBron James, and this whole generation that's coming after Kobe Bryant have been followers. I don't care what you say. They ain't been near leader. All of them have been part of the kingdom, the peasants in LeBron's kingdom. They're going to join this league, and no matter the talents, no matter the heights of the talents, they defer to LeBron James. That's why I loved Kobe Bryant. Kobe was petty as hell. So whatever LeBron did, everybody else in the league had a permission slip to do. And he led the masses at every angle, at every turn to talk about the New York Knicks. Well, you see what they did to Uncle Oak? Nah, see, that's why I ain't never going to go there. Phil Jackson called my team a posse, or that has racial connotation. That's not what I'm doing. We've heard it before, and I've talked about it before. So at that time, I said, you know what? The only way we're going to turn this thing around is we got to hit the bushes. We got to either go international. We really got to recruit our asses off. We got to make connections. We got to develop a pipeline. We got to be creative in what it is that we do. But first and foremost, you need to get somebody who want New York. You need to get somebody who takes the weight of the heaviest jersey in the league and they take ownership of it. And Obi was one of those players. And all he could kind of gather himself to do he did the ugly cry on national TV. And he was shaking his head. He was just like, yo, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I swear I'm going to do my best. I'm going to work hard to do my best. I'm not going to disappoint y'all. And to his credit, man, he didn't. He's young. He's been a good soldier. On that draft night, I don't want to gloss over this as well. Emmanuel quickly got drafted. Ultimately his best friend, probably his best friend now, got drafted on that night. And I remember either him or IQ said the moment he got drafted, one called the other and said, yo, you ready to help turn this thing around? And he was just like, yo, let's do this. That's what you want out of draft picks. You don't want nobody who's going to run away from the smoke. You know the type of task it is. You know what you was going up against with the 20 plus years of losing, the stench that was on Madison Square Garden in the New York Knicks. You know what that was. And you got these two, you smelt the Similac on these kids, but they called each other. They was just like, yo, we need to be about this work. They got the new coach coming in. They trying to turn this thing around. Yo, you ready to do this? You ready to help turn this thing around? And kudos to them, because that's exactly what they did. They helped turn this thing around. So, Obi, it's tough to see you go, my brother, but we knew your frustration. We shared your frustration. We saw all the times when, listen, you happen to come in and be behind an experienced veteran who found his groove. Unfortunately for you, he found his groove at the wrong time when he was coming in and you wanted to kind of get your time. But listen, that's not all bad. And I'm seeing and I'm hearing a lot of negativity when people are reflecting on you being behind Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a two-time All-Star, two-time All-NBA, a most improved player in this league. The man has put up numbers in this league. He's been part of 2 playoff pushes in the craziest city in the world as the primary scorer. Put some respect on Julius Randle's name. And that young man had the opportunity to work behind him, to battle him in practice. Julius doesn't get better without Obi battling him. But Obi learned, Obi watched Julius tighten up the rope that was given to him and hang himself by giving a thumbs down to New York fans. Obi watched that. Obi watched him slip up, and he saw the consequences that came with that. He saw how it took emotionally a turn for Julius Randle. That's the experience you get when you're not on the front line. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But that experience, seeing that up close, is invaluable. It's going to be what helped guide Obi for the rest of his career, playing behind Julius Randle, battling Julius Randle, seeing how he works. Say what you will about Julius Randle, that man works. Setting the example. He said it on that show recently on the podcast with anti-playoff P. He said it. He said, I'm not a vocal leader. He said, I try to lead by example. I try to lead with my play and my effort on the floor. I know we got questions about that too. I ain't even gonna hold you. But that's valuable experience. But when you're going into year 4, or you're in year 3 and you're seeing the game from the bench and you're seeing the ebbs and flows of the game, and you know where you can impact the game and help put us over the top, and you telling that to your coach, but your coach doesn't move on it and you don't know why. All you can think about is, what is this coach doing? I mean, I swear to God, this bitch will not put me in the game. I'm going to let it be known. And Obi knew. Obi's in a different situation. He didn't get drafted as a young buck at 19 or 18. He had already he took the long way in college. Look up Obi's story. He don't got time to back up anybody anymore. He needs to start. And like I said before, you knew that it was going to come to light. You knew that he was going to have to step forward and let his voice be heard when Emmanuel quickly did. And Emmanuel quickly felt like he had the permission slip to say, you know what, I respect Lou Will, and that's a person that I idolize, and I know you all compare me to him, but I'm a starter in this league. And I want to start. He let it be known. And that's a lot to be said when you have a starting point guard in Jalen Brunson setting this mother flipper on fire. But he let him know what it was. And you know, after games and, you know, after the end of seasons, when him and Obi are sitting together, they're looking at each other like, yo, bro, it's now or never. Either we have a defined road or we take this to another level with this team, or we got to make our voices be heard. We got to go up a notch. And if you can't do it here, you got to do it somewhere else. We do it in our careers. If there's a CEO, if there's a manager, if there's a director, and you know there's no other place for you to go, you got to go somewhere else. You got to go somewhere else. So I'm not mad at you, young bro. I'm not mad at you. I'm proud of you. Last summer, I created all types of videos talking about, you know, how idols got to become rivals and how you needed to come into camp. Listen, you respect what Julius has done, and he's probably your vet, but them days are over. And if I'm being honest, whenever you got the minutes on the floor, you were efficient, but you didn't show me any signs. You didn't show me any examples, any proof that you were better than Julius on the floor. And y'all may disagree with me, but I didn't see it. On the contrary, there were moments where you were on the floor and you was given some extended minutes and you disappeared. You look at the stat sheet and you be like, yo, where were you? Now, to Obi Toppin's credit, Obi Toppin he needs minutes to develop his rhythm. And we saw when he got minutes towards the end of the season, and once again, people will talk about whether it's backups or not. Listen, once he's out there, he's getting his lather and his sweat up, and he's running up and down the floor. Then within the flow of the game, that's when he gets his points in bunches. The man is going to stand out in Indiana. Shout out to the Indiana Pacers. He's going to put in work. He's going to do work. And he will be a starter. He will be their starting point guard. So we got a rivalry once again in Indiana. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle versus Halliburton and Obi Toppin. And I ain't even gonna lie to you, I flipping love it. I flipping love it. Because you will see the teacher and the student. Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing and Dikembe Mutombo, the teacher and the student. Alonzo Mourning versus Larry Johnson. Let's go. I'm all for that. I'm happy Obi has an opportunity to get that time. I'm happy he's not in the dungeons and sent to Siberia. I'm just talking about far away where you don't get no shine or whatever have you. We sent him to a good place, and it says a lot about the New York Knicks. And that's another thing when I'm watching Twitter and I'm hearing y'all all dismantling the front office, dismantling Tom Thibodeau. Oh, they never gave him a shot. Obi didn't have a shot. Listen, you already saw what it was with your own eyes. But the fact of the matter is we were still winning, going to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years that he was here. I could see if we had losing records all 3 years, then I really would say, listen, I see and I hear your argument. We made it to the playoffs for the first time after forever in that first year. And in the third year, we exceeded that progress from the first year. And we made it to the second round. So come on, y'all, what's it going to be? You need to pick one. Y'all want the perfect storm. Y'all not looking at the steps. We love this team. I understand it. We saw these kids come up. We wanted all of them to succeed and be successful, and he will. And some of it just won't be with us. I got news for you. There are more players that ain't going to be here that we love. And that's just how this thing works. And whether or not we take a step back as a result of it, that's what you do in this league. When you ship out a Marcus Smart and you bring in a Kristaps Porzingis, that's what happens. Defensive player of the year, but we got to shake this up and do something different because it's not ending how we see it ending. You got to make tough decisions. And like Marcus Smart said in his situation, I realize it's a business. I love this team. I love this organization. I love this city, but I understand it's a business. So I want the best for Obi, except against us. I want him to dominate. I think he's going to be a 20-point per game scorer alongside Halliburton. I think they will try to design that style of play with Obi's skill set. And I look forward to just seeing how he continues to grow in this league. So shout out to Obi mother flipping Toppin. All right, before I hop into the egg today, let me just hit some of these comments. All right. Let's go. We got Kelvinator. Let's go. He said, "What's up, my brother? What's up to you, bro? Welcome to the chat. Welcome. Big task at hand, my guys. It's Knicks Deli. Hope all is well and you're doing great. I appreciate you, brother. Always supporting all of y'all. Shout out to you. Big task at hand also gets the sad face for Obi Toppin. Listen, man, it's one of those things where we're both sad and we're happy for him at the same time because he had a roadblock here in New York, man. So I wish nothing but success for that young man. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the effects that it's going to have on our team because I don't know if right now we're better. Once again, there was a 1 in the chat. Big task at hand. Thank you for Obi. Shout out to. Once again, if you're new to the chat, you're just joining us, put your 1s in the chat for Obi Toppin, man. We really got to salute that brother. I've been trying to get his attention on Twitter to just dap us up before he head out. Hope he don't leave out in the middle of the night and not, give a shout out to us fans. Shot Power says, salute to you as well, my guy. I want to welcome you to Knicks Deli, baby. Everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. So shout out to you. Shop Powers also says, let's get it. Big Task in Hand says, facts. These non-New York City NBA players are scared of the smoke. Ask Kevin Durant. Yeah. The only smoke that was coming out of Brooklyn was the bridge when it was on fire. I'm sorry, I'm annoying as Flex with that goddamn Flex bomb. AP, what's up, man? He says, what's up to the chat? If Obi doesn't get this move, will he never get paid? That's right. It's the right decision for him. Once again, this is a business, and he is a businessman. So respect to that man. AP also says, no hard feelings, Obi will always be a Knick to me. 100% he was drafted here. He's going to always be welcome in these gardens, man. He helped put some of the bricks on the building. You know what I mean? He left his blood, sweat, and tears on the floor. So AP also says, I would have liked more than second-round picks, but the Knicks seem to do well in late rounds. Facts, man, is something else that we also got to be mindful of. We got the cap guard for a reason. I'm telling you, like, there is some things, just like the Jalen Brunson acquisition, and when we missed out on the draft that year, and we were just sitting there staring at the screen like, what are y'all doing? Why are we sitting here? Nothing. We're moving out contracts. Listen, I trust that there are some things that are happening on the undercurrent. I swear to goodness, I trust that. So I think we just got to be a little bit patient. When we don't see things happening, I think it's shown enough that we do in terms of piecing things together, moving things around, and incrementally building. Front office has been proven so far, more than they haven't been. So I trust that process. We're going to let them cook. All right, AP also says it would be tough for the New York Knicks to justify moving a 25-10 player on that contract. 100%. And a lot of the players we got right now are on decent contracts. And once again, it speaks to having the type of personnel who's looking at the financials and advising us on how do we make moves accordingly. Okay? Almighty Finesse, my guy, what's good, man? It says, what's good? Shout out to you. Almighty Finesse also says, man, Obi is trash, bro. Listen, man, does he have a lot of room to grow? Yeah. But Obi always seemed like the type of player that you got to give him burn. You got to get him out there and learn how it is to play with starters. It's a difference when you're coming in off the bench, you're a little bit cold, you're trying to figure out the flow of the game, depending on the personnel that's out there you're not comfortable with. You could be out there with a starter or out there with a bench. It's tough to get your rhythm during that type of setup. But when you are a starter and you're a starter playing with other starting level players, they make you better. You make them better, you know? And it's also a difference, man. When you're in a small market, you don't got that pressure of New York breathing down your back and that expectation. So we'll see where he grows. We'll see whether or not he grows. Things that stood out about Obi that I always was just like, like he just, paused, but he had tight hips. So it's like he never got low enough, or although he was athletic, he was like stiff athletic. And y'all know what I'm talking about. He's like the most athletic, non-athletic person. You know what I mean? Like he has that, East Bay dunk. But even when he was in a slam dunk contest, it's just like, it's a difference between Obi athletic and Aaron Gordon athletic. You follow where I'm going? It's a difference. So just that, he is not naturally inclined to play defense. He really worked on it. And honestly speaking, within Tibbs' system, he got better. He would disrupt passing lanes. He'd get some key blocks. And y'all can't discount the Tom Thibodeau effect on players knowing defensive schemes, improving improving their play on the defensive end. You can't discount that. You can't discount the little things. So he did have areas in which he improved, man. But, I just think this move is going to be a great move for him. And Indiana out there, man, they're not as critical as we are, so he could have a bad game and they'll be like, yo, have a good game next game. I was there. I heard them say that as opposed to out here where we like, yo, you trash, bro. And we'll say that to their face while they're walking down the street. I love New York. You know what I mean? So my guy Wiz, let's go. My brother, what's going on? Ashley Inc. 1 throws his 1 in the chat for Obi. I'm gonna hit a couple more of these. I ain't gonna get to all of them, but I gotta get through the show. But Wiz also says, I can't wait to see Obi become our Reggie Miller, dunking on Randall and Mitch, plus draining threes. We still should win the game, but Obi can go off. Shout out to you, 100%. So next, Obi is the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese today here at Knicks Deli. Shout out to Obi Toppin. Now, who is the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese? Who is that second ingredient? What's that second topic we're going to talk about that makes this sandwich bust? And that is going to be the Knicks signing Dante DiVincenzo. Shout out and welcome to Dante DiVincenzo to the New York Knicks. Yeah. Good signing. I'll be honest with you. I thought, all right, he's a role player. I didn't really follow Villanova when they was on their run because I'm a Duke fan. Yo, don't at me, okay? Don't throw tomatoes in the chat because I'm a Duke fan. Or throw your tomatoes. I don't care, friend or foe. We want the smoke. So I didn't follow Villanova when they were on their run. And what I did notice was when Golden State won that chip, he had a little bit of a stretch that season where, he was hitting 3-pointers, like he was going off. So as recently as last night, I had the first opportunity to look at some film on Dante and really kind of see his highlights from this past season. And there's a couple of things that stood out about his style of play. First and foremost, he's short. And I know that is a topic of discussion. Obi Toppin is 6'8", and so we traded him. He's out of the lineup, and who we bring in is a guard that's about 6'3" or 6'4". So we lose rebounding, in theory. Obi really didn't rebound that much. Obi really didn't block shots. I think he just provided length on the second unit, on the terror squad. I think that's ultimately what it is, in speed. So he changed the pace of the second unit against the other team's second unit. But what Donte brings that I'm excited about, he has versatility to his game. You may think that he's simply a three-point shot, but I do see, similar to Grimes, I think he has a game similar to Grimes, actually, where he has shown flashes of being able to play defense, not to the level of Grimes, though. He's a sniper, so he will put it up behind the three-point line, but he can shoot on the move. He can come off of curls and pop that three-point shot. And I think playing in a system with Golden State and playing behind Steph Curry, you know what I mean? The three-point guard. Just like Obi learned from Julius Randle. Come on, DiVincenzo was playing behind Clay and Steph. So you know that he picked up some tricks of the trade, and in that range, he got some confidence with that as well. I also love his vision. Like, go back and look at some highlights from this kid. And this is why I say he's similar to Grimes, and we're accruing these type of players with basketball IQ. What is that, Julius? Players with a basketball IQ. All right, we're done. We're talking about we're still on the bacon, egg, and cheese, right? Yeah, so players with a basketball IQ. I saw some of the highlights, and he had bounce passes, like the vision, and his team was expecting it from him, which told me that he does it on a regular basis. That continue to cut to the basket, I'm gonna find you. Continue to get to your spot, I'm gonna find you. He seems to be a good finisher around the rim as well. So I like the versatility and the different dimensions of his game. But he plays unafraid. And it's funny because Jay Wright is the coach, or was the coach for Villanova. And he was the coach at Hofstra University. That's my alma mater. And he was the coach while I was there. So I knew him when he first started out in coaching. I think that was maybe his second gig at Hofstra, and he left Hofstra to go to Villanova. And we had Speedy Claxton at Hofstra. I don't know if any of you know New York ball or whatever have you. Speedy Claxton, he went to the Spurs, won a championship. That's my guy. We went to school. We were on the campus at the same time. But apparently that's Jay Wright's style, man. Them boys are scrappy, and a lot of what I saw. And DiVincenzo will punch it on him. Yeah. Yo, he was getting put back dunks on people. So go watch that man highlights. After doing that, I was more at peace. I was more excited about adding him to the roster and seeing how he adjusts. But aside from that, man, what's being shown is more so they're putting pieces around Brunson that makes him more comfortable. Yo, he got two former teammates from college. So he already knows their game. So that learning curve is going to be quicker. What's going to be tougher is the learning curve of the other players to learn the style of these two new players and then the style of these three players together and how they play off of each other and figure out how they're going to fit in with that. But at the end of the day, they're winners. We are continuing to add winners to this team, and there's a lot to be said about that. So Donte, welcome once again to the New York Knicks. You are the heir of the bacon, egg, and cheese today here at Knicks Deli. Yeah. All right. All right, so we want to look at what's the cheese. What is the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese here today at Knicks Deli? Let me take that off. Let me see. We want to talk about who is the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese here at Knicks Deli today. And the cheese is going to be the New York Knicks front office. And the fact that the New York Knicks was silent on draft night and so far on the free agency front. Okay? Now, I've been paying attention to Twitter. And you know, Knicks Nation is going to Knicks Nation. We're going to do what we do, all right? And we are going to hold our front office accountable. I know this is an old pick. Some people ain't here no more. But we're going to hold our front office accountable, right? And you know, we're wondering what's going on. We're like, we hear about all these names and the possibility for them, and it makes us think about and try to envision if that player is going to be good for our team. You know, what type of player, you know, is really going to help us take that next step. We're ready to take the next step, but we know we need something that we can feel confident that because we added that, that's what's going to help us take the next step, and we're not seeing it, okay? And it's causing a lot of frustration amongst fans. It's causing a lot of civil wars within the fan base. And the only thing the front office is going to be doing is sending out a tweet like, sorry, bro. All right? But I'm here to tell you this. Yo, you got to relax. Okay? Knicks fans, you got to relax. Okay? Brother Wiz, you got to relax. All right? Let them cook. Let them cook. To me, the front office seems like that alligator that is right below the surface. And you really don't see him, and the lake is still. But if you look closely enough, you see the eyes are the only thing that's protruding the surface of the water. Stay with me. That's what the front office feels like for me. Listen, I don't know if you heard this or you saw this story, but it was recently unveiled that the New York Knicks were close to getting a star player for IQ. And then the deal fell dead. Now, part of that report didn't release the name of the star player, but it said that the New York Knicks were close to securing I don't know if they said a star or a superstar. And one of the main pieces that would be part of that deal was IQ. And it fell through. So because we don't hear anything doesn't mean they're not working. We know that at this point. It's 3 years now. We know that. So we know this front office is doing what they're doing, but they've been masterful in keeping things close to the vest. They've been masterful about it. And you gotta respect that. Okay? But they've been silent, with the exception of DiVincenzo. They've been silent. And I love it. You know why I love it? Because we're at this point where the moment we make another move, it's gotta be a superstar. It's gotta be a superstar level move. Okay? Now I know I hear some of you just like, nah, shit, we gotta stick with the youth. Listen, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, we don't need no superstar. We got to build it organically. Prestige, New York. I hear you like over here. I understand that. But if we're going to make a move to be NBA championship contenders, we're going to have to do it with a superstar. We're going to have to put the right pieces together that are like Detroit Piston level. As a team, we're going to dominate. Everybody was crapping on Larry Brown as a coach until he inserted that play the right way type of mentality, and he had all the pieces that came together and bought in, and they were able to beat a juggernaut such as the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. That's the type of thing that's possible in this league. Okay? But I'm telling you, the patience that's being shown, first and foremost, other players are paying attention. They're paying attention. All of the strategic moves that are being made, other players in this league are paying attention. The grip and the grasp that LeBron James had on all of those other young players' opinion of what New York is, that's starting to lighten because his sun is setting and he's almost out of here. So you got mixed in with that crop of players that came in with him, a whole new crop of players who still look up to him, but they're coming in with their own mind and they're having a different opinion of New York. Out of 3 years, we won 2 of those years. We made it to the playoffs. We our mistakes and failures are on blast, but we made it to the playoffs. For those kids coming in, they saw what the Garden looked like coming out of the pandemic when it was popping. They saw that. They saw how live the livest audience and fan base is in the league. They saw us. And then last year when Jalen Brunson came and lit this mother flipper on fire, and we had Julius who came back, made the All-Star game. Come on, man. And we made the run that we made, and we whooped the snot off of Cleveland. They see us. So you got those players paying attention, but you also got the superstars who are they're the alligators in the swamp. They're sitting calmly and patiently, but they're paying attention. And I got proof of it. Let me show you this. I was going to hold this to the end. Let me show you this now. Give me a second. Let me chef this damn thing up. There we go. Let me share my screen and see if we could bring this to the forefront. Bong and a bong. Let me share my screen and show you what we talking. So here, we're looking at Knicks Deli. We're looking at Reddit. This is New York Knicks Reddit. Let me pull this up. Yo, do me a favor, man. If y'all just joined, throw your ones in the chat to support Obi Toppin. Let them know that we respect them and that we love them. Also, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, if you're just joining, let me show you this. So apparently, when Obi Toppin got traded, this is what the process tweeted. And let me make this large enough so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Let me see. Okay. Boom. Y'all can see that? So Joel Embiid, he looks at Adrian Wojnarowski's tweet that the Knicks are finalizing a trade to send Obi Toppin to the Pacers, and he quote tweets it and he says processing. Now he ain't processing about what the Indiana Pacers is going to look like and the possibility that he could get over Indiana. He's like, all right, what does that mean? Is this the first step? All right, you got Obi out of there. Does that free up some spot? What else are they willing to do? We see the type of moves that you're doing. And many of you who are upset about the New York Knicks of getting rid of a player like Obi and look, they took care of this kid. They sent him to a team that has the potential to contend. They signed his brother. So the idea of their culture and like Heat culture where they say, you know, they treat you like family, they take care of you. Pat Riley take care of you. Spoelstra takes care of you. For them to send this young man to a situation where he'll start, to a situation where he has a point guard, to a situation where he'll get an opportunity to show what he can do and also have an opportunity to get a bag. That goes a long way as an organization. The New York Knicks are doing it right as an organization, and they're treating their players right, whether they stay or whether they go. So that's the type of stuff that we're doing. That's what matters. Y'all gotta look at the big picture. It's not just about the trade. It's about the fact that you took care of him. And you made sure he went to a situation where he had what he was looking for, an opportunity to play. That's it. Every little thing counts. Every little move is a chess piece that's done. Not only do we have to turn this thing around play-wise, but we had to take the stench off of the New York Knicks. We couldn't just cover it with air freshener no more. We really had to deep clean everything that was happening in the Garden. And that's what they've been doing, multitasking. So it's easy for us to sit back and be like, yo, listen, this is Tibbs didn't give him the chance. Listen, Tibbs is coaching his ass off. All the adjustments Tibbs did, they said Tibbs wasn't a player's coach with young players. Tibbs rolled with his veterans. Now, there's truth to that. But at least the New York Knicks didn't purge off their young players and bring in veterans he wanted. They kept the players. They developed the players until they became his veterans. Now you can't be mad at him because he's playing the young players that developed under us. And that's what you want. That's the signs of a healthy organization. This is why I say let Tibbs ride out his contract. Last 2 years. And at the end of that 2 years, it will be a clear resume. And I tell you what's going to happen. This is the plan. After the 2 years, if we haven't moved the needle, they're moving Tom Thibodeau up to the front office, and they're giving Johnny Bryant the reins. Or they're giving him an opportunity to apply for that coaching job to get the reins. That's the plan. Because they're trying to mimic Heat culture, where you promote from within. They're trying to mimic Boston culture, where you promote from within. When Brad Stevens felt as if they couldn't get the ear, they moved him up to the front office and they brought another coach in there. And they promoted from within with Stevens. The New York Knicks are doing it right. We've just never seen it done before. So shout out to Dante DiVincenzo. Shout out to the Knicks right now being silent during the draft and free agency. Trust the process. Because even the process is paying attention to us. Bro, I'm telling you, things are happening, bro. It's happening, and we're not accustomed to it. If you ask me, listen, you talking to the Prince of Positivity out there. Put some respect on my name. I'm not the Dean of Delusion. I'm the Prince of Positivity. My eyes were on Giannis. You can't tell me any different that in 2 years, the Knicks will have a situation where they've shown a track record of making good financial decisions. They've shown a track record of players enjoying playing for this organization and being taken care of. They've shown a track record of stars emerging under these bright lights and them loving it. Jalen Brunson on the team USA for FIBA. Josh Hart on the team USA for FIBA. Come on, too many things are aligning. And when you're elected to that team, that's the NBA saying, we see what you're doing and we want to be a part of it. We're excited to have New York now as part of this next marketing wave of stars that's going to lead us into the next 20 years because Zion and Ja Morant are doing whatever they need to do. All right, so the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese and wraps up our bacon, egg, and cheese portion of Knicks Deli is the New York Knicks being silent on draft day and in free agency, but us trusting the process. All right, let me go to a couple of the comments real quick. I don't want to forget y'all. Man, you guys are popping tonight, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Throw your ones in the chat for Obi Toppin. Throw your fives in the chat for Derrick Rose, man, or throw some roses in the chat as well. My bad, man. Shout out to the legend. Shout out to the legend. Listen, I got to take a moment. I know I'm getting off track. I apologize, but we going to ride this out. You know what I mean? Y'all going to be all right. Listen, shout out to Derrick Rose, bro. I did a video. If you haven't seen it, if you're new to my channel, check out the small video I did on Derrick Rose. Really gave him his flowers, bro. Derrick Rose is a legend. His contribution to our team as a mentor for us, as one of the mentors that helped spread the message of Tom Thibodeau to these young players, showed them how to not only play for Tom Thibodeau, but how to deal with him being moody, how to deal with him being a taskmaster. That was invaluable, bro. The type of development that Obi had, the type of development that IQ had, none of them could have developed the way they did. The type of personality that Tom Thibodeau had coming in with Julius. Tom Thibodeau was like, yo, I need to get him out of here because I don't like his body language. I'm assuming he said that. There's nowhere you could find that. I didn't hear that. But I did hear with Mitchell Robinson. He told Mitch, he said, I don't know if, you're ready to play the style of basketball I need you to play. He told him that straight up. And it was Derrick Rose that came in along with Taj Gibson and really helped set the foundation of these players. And then ultimately, man, honestly, Tibbs, fell back and he changed up his ways a little bit in the play. These young players started looking at him as a father figure. Derrick Rose played a huge part in that. So throw your fives in the chat for Derrick Rose. Give that man some love. He is the perfect veteran for Memphis. Perfect vet. Van Fleet is in Houston. He's the perfect veteran for that team. Derrick Rose and Marcus Smart. Was Marcus Smart traded to Memphis? Where Marcus Smart go? I don't know. But Derrick Rose is in Memphis. Okay? Bro, if we were talking about a player that John Morant, there's only a few players that John Morant honestly can look at and respect because he's better than most of the veterans. It's almost tough when you have the level of skill set that John Morant has to put a veteran on that team that he would listen to. You got Derrick Rose is straight out of Chicago. Oh, wrong one. Derrick Rose is straight out of Chicago. I'm going to hell. But it's all facts. He's straight out of Chicago. He's been MVP of this league. He was a better player than John Morant was. Had he stayed healthy, he'd be first ballot Hall of Famer and a man with the College of Memphis. You crazy. That was masterful by Memphis bringing in Derrick Rose. So shout out with your fives in the chat for Derrick Rose, your ones in the chat for Obi Toppin. Shout out to them. All right. So let me see. AP says, "What's up, chat? If Obi doesn't get this move, we never get paid." I did read that. My bad. I'm sorry. Let me go down a little bit. Sorry if I skip you guys as well. My God, Mansa, Dushawn NYK. Let's go. Throws his one in the chat. Keith Turner, what's good, my brother? What's going on, man? How you doing? I'm doing well, man. Life is good. God is great. And we here talking about these Knicks who are on their way to greatness sooner or later. AP also says, interesting about Tibbs' contract. That's why Steve Kerr didn't come here, because he thought he wouldn't last 2 years. All facts. Not only are we setting the example for NBA players to show that we have a culture, to show that we ride together, to show that we're on the same page, we're doing it for the coaches. Tell me, everybody is so quick to want to get rid of Tibbs. Nobody is clamoring to come here. Nobody. Contrary to your beliefs, nobody is clamoring for this job. They know what comes with it. The pressure, the criticism, they know what comes with it. They know you're going to lose your hair being in this role. They know it. So have a coach here and show them that you can let a coach write out his contract. We did it with D'Antoni. D'Antoni made it to his lame duck year. Show we could do it with Tibbs. And how we end with Tibbs is going to be important. That's why I'm telling you my theory. We're going to rewind this tape, goddammit. And my theory is that they're going to give him a front office pot. And then they're going to open up that coaching position. And it's going to be Johnny Bryant's to lose. But it'll be whoever it is. We're going to have the personnel on the floor that we think it's time for that next person to take us to the next level. But it's important. Everybody's watching. Coaches are watching how this coach is going to be treated. players are watching, how the players are going to be treated, and front offices and GMs are paying attention to what the New York Knicks do as an organization because they know we're a threat. We're getting it together. We got it together. We're a threat. Before we were a laughing stock, first they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. We're on the precipice of winning. All right. Shout out to you, Mike Lilly, for throwing your roles in the chat. Marvin Smith, APAP, throwing your fives in the chat, man. Yo, I'm telling you, Rose was invaluable, bro. Alawa says, if Obi don't show up in Indy, what we talking about? What we talking about? But we're not doing that. We're going to send nothing but positive energy, bro, to that young man and hope that he really makes his mark on this league. He's already made a way for his brother to be playing in the greatest league in the world as well. So shout out to both of them. Hopefully they get traction and they have long careers like the Brooks and the Robins of the world, you know, in this league, man, and the Bald Rose to be in this league. So and shout out to Lonzo Ball, man. That's so unfortunate, bro. I feel bad. My heart goes out to Lonzo Ball. You know, I'm hoping that he could, you know, just find happiness and however things turn out, because it doesn't look like he's going to be able to continue his NBA career. I know I'm off track. I apologize, though. But shout out to Lonzo Ball, man. You know, just wishes for healing and that he does get back, bro, because he was really a player in this league. And his brother is a player in this league. His brother just cashed in, goddammit, that Thanksgiving. Woo, boy. You're going to be sitting at the table. You know, LaMelo going to be having bragging rights, man. But that family is tight, and it's an example. So I'm proud to see them, but my heart goes out to Lonzo Ball, man. I know I'll be like F Chicago, but shout out to that young man. These are humans. These are young people, and you never want to see that happen. I'm going to get one more comment, and then I'm going to get back to what I'm doing. We're going to be discussing the chopped cheese. APAP also says Derrick Rose's second time here was so good, people forgot about the first time. Bro, thank you for circling the block and helping me.
We circling the block. We spinning the block.
Thank you for helping me spin the block, because that's what I wanted to talk about. Derrick Rose, his first time here. If y'all remember one of the first times here, he was talking about, oh, they're calling us the new big three. They said that he was saying that, you know, because he had joined Carmelo Anthony and he had joined Kristaps Porzingis. And he said, yeah, man, you know, I'm excited to be here. They're calling us the new big three. But in my video, what I did was I kind of highlighted, he was shooting a documentary. And in that documentary, he got the news that he was traded to New York. And BJ Armstrong was his player agent at that time. And he called him, so they had him on phone. So he stepped outside. You could hear his voice shaking. He was just like, "You not serious, for real?" And he was just like, "Yeah, man. You know, I talked to Phil Jackson, once again. He was like, I talked to Phil, and they're excited to bring you in, and this, that, and third, blah, blah, whatever." So he was just like, all right. But he started, you know, crying. He's like, you could hear his breathing uncontrollable. And BJ said, well, is that excitement or are you whatever? And D-Rose was just like, yo, I'm just in awe right now. I'm in awe. So BJ said, yo, I need you to get yourself together. I wanted to tell you before news, and that you can tell who you need to tell. But he said, at the end of the day, he was just like, yo, this is the fucking Mecca. He's like, this is the Mecca, and you need to get it together. He said, this is big time. Like this is big time. And I love that part of the documentary, because although Chicago is 6 championships, it's MVP Derrick Rose setting his mother flipper ablaze, dunking all over people. Really like being a superstar of superstars. BJ Armstrong was like, this is the Mecca. So when Derrick Rose came that time, you could see, at first I was offended when he started crying. I was just like, yo, we don't want nobody who don't want to come here, bro. And I thought, you know, in my dumbass mine, I was just like, oh, you don't want to come here? This is you crying and stuff. And then when he came, he was just, I think they're saying that we could be the new big three. I'm like, all right, that was his way of saying I'm here and I'm ready to go. But there was so many ups and downs in that season. And then he had that one period where he disappeared. Y'all remember that? Like people was just like, well, Derrick Rose is not going to be playing tonight. We think he had a family emergency. We think we had a family emergency. And then it came out that he disappeared, and people were concerned about where he was. And he took a flight back to Chicago. But I'm laughing. I apologize, because at that point in time, he was going through like mental health issues. He was missing his family. He was just all over the place. He wasn't present. And then shortly thereafter, I think he left the free agency or we traded him, And I really felt like, good riddance. So when Tibbs came and that possibility for him to come back, I wasn't down with it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was. I wasn't down with it at all. I was just like, let that man kick rocks, man. I see what he's doing in Minnesota. Yeah, he dropped 50. He changed his style of play. He's not recklessly athletic anymore. You know what I mean? Like he gets to his spots. He still cook people. But I don't want, come on, he didn't want to be here the first time. Why you want to come with us? Well, we got a little buzz now. Why we got a little, we doing a little something now. Now you want to come back and get this reunion with Tibbs? I wasn't for it. But what I loved was when he showed up. That was one of the first things he addressed. He said, I want to talk to the New York Knicks fans and apologize for the way I left. Bro. This is why he is the most respected player in this league today. This is why he's the most respected player. He said, I want to apologize for the way that I left. And I want to let you know I'm going to make it up this time around. And he did, bro. He did. He was the one that helped push us to that first playoff run that we had. We rode his back a lot of the time. And in the playoffs, he did his damnness to try to pull some of that MVP Derrick Rose dust when Julius was a little bit stage struck by the spotlight. I remember that moment where we was in a critical game in Atlanta. And on the bench, they got several photos. They got one photo of Derrick Rose looking at Julius crazy. That look was like, you supposed to be our star, bro. Like, what are you doing? Why is your head down? Why are your shoulders slumped? There was a moment he looked at him with disgust. I'll find the picture. I got receipts. I ain't crazy. But he was looking at him like, yo, get yourself together. And you knew that was the case because in the offseason, they talked about him this past summer. They talked about him, having meetings with other players. They got the Julius. They was just like, yo, you got to be comfortable enough to get criticism from us and to be able to give it. You can't be vanishing on us. We're a team. Can't leave us out there to dry. So that leadership is invaluable, it's unquestioned, and it's definitely going to benefit the Memphis Grizzlies. So shout out to Derrick Rose and Obi Toppin. All right, y'all, listen, man. So I'm going to zoom in. I know your comments are going to be there. I'm going to probably try to catch up on them at the end of the show, but I want to get through this. I want to keep on for too long. I want to stop at about 12. But next door, Knicks Deli, we got the dollar slice. Emmanuel Quickly is going to be the dollar slice today. Shout out to Emmanuel Quickly. Let me see if I can get IQ up here. And I got the appropriate picture for IQ too. Let's get it. Where we at? There we go. My man is, he gotta look like $100 million. All right. So my guy IQ is going to be the dollar slice right now. Dollar slice represents stability for New York. Okay. And since we've had IQ and we've seen his development and throughout the season, what he became for us was a source of stability. Okay, I know about how he performed in the playoffs. I know that. We're going to get to that. It's been well documented on Twitter and on the news, but more so on Twitter. I know that. But the man came out this season. It came out in his camp recently that 100 mil is the starting point. 100 mil is the starting point. And my response to that was... this bitch. I'm sorry. At first I was just like, Ninja, come on, son.
Nah, son, nah.
You wildin', all right? But then the numbers from free agency started to come out. And you started seeing people get paid. And I'm like, okay, I forgot inflation is a motherfucker in this piece. It's a motherfather in this piece, okay? And once I started seeing some of the contracts that were going out, man, some of these people are getting paid. Then it made me look at it and say, yeah, IQ, I could see it. Now, some of us always want to hold players accountable, and some of my colleagues tell me, come on, shit, man, you can't always be flowers and rose petals, bro. You got to be realistic. You got to be honest. Listen, I'm being honest, goddammit. I'm being honest. Get that man the bag. I know what his playoff performance does, but this man has incrementally gotten better. He's worked on his game. He's stepped up. He's become a nice little two-way player. Not a 3-and-D player, but different level scoring player. Plays on the defensive end, long arms, uses them to disrupt the offensive player. And the man offensively, as a point guard, has improved in that. Put some respect on that man's name. Somebody going to give him the 100,000. Somebody going to give him the 100K. And I think that's the piece that we got to be mindful of. When we talk about the New York Knicks front office now starting to think about it, if we not giving him the 100K, this front office is going to make sure he gets that 100K. Look at what's happening. They took care of Obi. They put him in a position that he'll have an opportunity to perform in order to get the bag. And if we're talking about IQ, who let it be known this season that he's a starting point guard in this league, basically what he's saying was, if I'm not going to have the opportunity here, put me in a position where I could have that opportunity somewhere else. And his performance this season to be in that race for Sixth Man of the Year, and have it stolen from him by the majority Boston writers because he was too valuable. When our guy went down and he stepped in as a starter, giving people buckets. How you penalize that man for stepping up and talking about he started too much game? Are you stupid or you dumb? You gonna penalize the man for stepping in as a bench player and being quality, starter quality level? You gonna penalize him for that? But what he did was he showed another team, yo, I could be your point guard. Yeah, I could be your point guard. Miami will take him. Miami will take him in a heartbeat. How many other teams out there would take him in a heartbeat? So at first I looked at him sideways like, nah, man, nah.
Nah, son, nah.
You wild. But then when I started seeing those numbers pop up, I said, yo, IQ, you got it. And I keep telling this story. I need y'all to listen to me. When he knew he was going to start voicing his opinion about wanting to start in this league and knew he was going to ask for 100 was when the New York Knicks included him in Donovan Mitchell trade talks. When he was close to being a Utah Jazz. He got out to the shaky start last season because mentally he couldn't fathom the fact that I thought this was a family. Y'all almost shipped me off. Same thing with RJ Barrett. I thought this was my family. I thought I was a cornerstone. You almost shipped me off? And you can't wonder why they had such a shaky season or start to the season. I was expecting it. It's going to take a lot for them to regain that trust. These are young players. And in this generation, they're more emotional than past years. So they took it to heart. And you saw a change in the demeanor of IQ. IQ started locking in. Before, he was about joy. And he had moments of joy. I'm not going to say it was a fun season watching him play this year. He was throwing up the threes. Him, iHeart, RJ, bouncing all. I loved it when he was giving the work to the Bulls. That man was doing more dancing on the Bulls. So he put in that work, and he started getting laser focused, and he had that stretch that really contributed to our win streak as well. And I said, man, he's primed to take it up and really show. The playoffs, to me, is when players introduce themselves to the NBA world and see what Knicks fans are making such a fuss about when we spill into the streets after victories and they sitting there from afar laughing at us. Look at the Knicks looking like they won a playoff game. No, ninjas, we looking at the development of our players. We coming for your spots. But the playoffs and to make it to an all-star game or even the Rising Star games, those are platforms where the international and the domestic fans have an opportunity to see the people up close that are on your team. So they can get excited like we're excited about what we see. They don't know these players until those moments. That's why it's critical we make the playoffs. That's why the Jazz was laughing at us like, no, we want all of those young players and picks. Because they were like, who the flip is IQ? Who the flip is RJ Barrett? But when you make the playoffs and you beat a team like Cleveland, now it's like, you see us now? You see us now? Oh, you know us now, right? And all they can say is, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. All right? So IQ is going to get his bag. And I think it's going to be part of being traded to a team where he can start. And he's going to recoup the 100. I think the New York Knicks front office is positioning themselves for a big move. And they're doing it while taking care of the players who they developed and groomed, and they're keeping relationships open. Obi Toppin will always be a New York Knick. Derrick Rose will always be a New York Knick. Any of those players we traded out, once a Knick, they're going to always be welcomed in the Garden. We working on Oakley. Oakley is always a New York Knick. We just got to get him back in the building so that the feel good can happen. But even last season, while we were playing well, they interviewed him and he said, I like what they're doing. I love what they're doing. They just need to stick together and continue being consistent. So even his energy and spirit was, that's still, I'm always New York. I just got a problem with the owner right now. We got beef, but that don't got nothing to do with my relationship with New York. That's always going to be there. But I want to talk about how this impacts us moving forward. The impact of Obi Toppin being traded, his best friend being traded. Now I gotta be a little bit transparent. Because a few months back, in one of my videos, I said I got an unpopular opinion. If you want Obi to go to the next level, or if you want IQ to go to the next level, you gotta split them up. I'll find the clip. I said that. I said, in order for them to go to the next level, you gotta split those brothers up. Because there's something about feeling like you're navigating your journey on your own. Obi, I think, is going to be sink or swim, but he's a New Yorker, so I think he's going to swim. But when you separate him from his comfortable environment and what he knows, and now he feels like, yo, listen, I don't got a plan B. It has to be plan A or nothing. I bet on myself. I asked for this and I got it. And I got a year to show that I'm worth that contract that I'm going to ask for, that extension that I'm ready for. I don't have no distractions. I'll talk to my brother from time to time, but you the ops right now. Take 5 minutes to give that man a standing ovation, but after that, Obi Toppin is the ops. The moment I see him in that Pacers uniform, my eyes are gonna turn red. He got ops. And you know what we do with the ops?
This bitch. We circling the block. We spinning the block.
We spinning the block. But I think it's gonna help IQ. And I think IQ is gonna be locked in and focused as much as possible if he makes it to the season as a New York Knick. So stay tuned. We saw Donovan Mitchell became available late in the summertime, and we went late into the summer negotiating and almost getting Donovan Mitchell. So don't get tied up in the fact that we're in July and the Knicks haven't made any moves or haven't made any trades. It's going to go into late in the summer. Relax and be patient. Trust the process. All right. So next up, yo, shout out to Emmanuel quickly. Hope he get his bag. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 3 more to go here at Knicks Deli. We only got 3 more items left, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. So come on, man, get your second win. Go get something to drink. Okay, get your second win. We're gonna roll through this. All right. So next up is the chopped cheese. And the chopped cheese that I'm going to be discussing today is the Villanova Knicks infusion. Shout out to putting them boys together, the Villanova Knicks. Okay? Jalen Brunson now is in a situation where he is even more comfortable. Having Josh Hart, you saw the impact of that. You saw that feeling and that sense of camaraderie and family that he had bringing to the team. And then you have DiVincenzo, who was just added. You know, from afar, he was looking at it like, yo, my guys, you know, that's from the area of my college. I don't know if he's from this area, but the fact that he's with his guys and his main guy, the point guard, he's the big show. He's the big ticket in New York. I love that. I love what the New York Knicks are doing. Do not listen to outside media, outside sports media, okay? The only way we were able to turn this thing around in New York was we had to find creative ways of becoming a winner. And what the New York Knicks did was they found players who were from the New York area. They found players who played in the New York area. They developed relationships. You let them clown us and laugh at us, calling us the Kentucky Knicks at first. And then you let them clown us and laugh at us, calling us the Villanova Knicks, because we've developed relationships. And now we have a pipeline to schools that are known as championship contenders. Every year competing for national championships. Every other team, LA is easy. Players want to go there during free agency because they want to align themselves with winning in those banners in the rafters. They want to be part of that legacy, of course. Boston, of course. The New York Knicks had to find a creative way to pull themselves off of the mat, dust themselves off, take the shower and spray themselves to get that stench off themselves, and figure out what way can I recruit talent? What way can I develop relationships so that what I don't see on the film or what my scout team don't see on the film, I can pick up the phone and call somebody and they can say, listen, this player is a winning player. That's us. So when they talk about Villanova Knicks or Kentucky Knicks, do that Chris Paul laugh, what he did with Steve Kerr. Don't listen to those cats. The New York Knicks have a formula that once they win at the highest level, people are going to be mimicking it. We've gone from, being a house with an effed up foundation, so it was always crumbling and dilapidated, to being a mother flipping blueprint. So shout out to the New York Knicks. Shout out to these Villanova Knicks. I'm with it. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Macau mother flipping Bridges. All right, before I go to the next, the quarter water, let me hit up some of these comments real quick. I'm not going to get to all of them, but I'm just jumping. Ray Gomez, my guy, what's going on, my brother? He says, besides Brunson, is quickly who the other on-the-ball creator for the Knicks. Besides Brunson and Emmanuel Quickly, who's the other on-the-ball creator for the New York Knicks? Once again, free agency isn't over yet. All right? Until the start of the season comes, hopefully we will see, who that's going to be. Our roster isn't completed yet. That's actually going to bleed into my next topic. But that's a great question. Keith Turner says, in my opinion, and some may call me crazy, but I believe they would trade RJ before they would IQ. I'm with you. I am with you. I agree as well. RJ is going to need to, and shout out to Raw Hebrew Remnant. Love these content creators, man. Love these content creators. Shout out to Raw Hebrew Remnant. He said something along the lines, and I was thinking the same thing. But RJ Barrett this year, we need from RJ to be 80% of who he's going to be in this league for the next 10 years. Follow me when I say this. We need RJ this year to be 80% of whoever he's going to be in this league for the next 10 years. All right. If he's going to be a perennial all-star, we need to see 75 to 80% of that this season. And in order to do that, he's going to have to be more consistent. He's going to have to take care of the basketball. He's going to have to be able to finish at the rim through contact. That's what we need from him. He's going to have to be able to hit the goddamn three-point shot from the corner. Stop hitting the side of the goddamn backboard. That's what we need from RJ. We're going to need everybody to step up. Julius is going to have to take another dimensional step in terms of trusting his teammates, not feeling like he has to be the one to step up every time he sees a superstar on the other side. He thinks he's that matchup. Bro, you're not. Okay? You're not. But you're an impactful player for us. You're just not him. Okay, so if we run it back, and y'all led me here, so I might as well keep going. So my quarter water of the show is running it back. So if we decide that we're going to run it back with this team, that's what we need from these players. We need 80% of whoever RJ is going to be in this league for the next 10 years. We need 80% of that this season from him. Consistency, finishing through contact at the basket. You can't be missing chip shots. You can't be sitting there puzzled with your hand up while they done stripped the ball from you and run into the other end of the floor. Kudos to you, Julius. You got rid of that goddamn spin move. But we need you to find a pocket. I was talking to my cousin this weekend. I said, good gracious, Jalen Brunson, tie yourself at the hip with Julius Randle and go watch Stockton and Malone, goddammit. You can't tell me the pick and roll don't work in this league. D'Antoni had Raymond Felton playing at an all-star level with Amari, looking like Stockton and Malone Part 2. If you got Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle with that pick and roll at the level that Amari and Raymond Felton was doing it, both of them are being an all-star game. And I got news for you. I got to give credit to Prestige New York, who said it, and I agree with him. Julius Randle's better than Karl Malone. And I'm not being Gilbert Arenas right now. Think about it. Julius Randle is better. Give Julius Randle John Stockton, and he'll be up there as one of the high point leaders of the NBA. It's not that complicated. It's not. Man, there was so many pick and slips, pick and roll, pick and pop opportunities. Listen, that's where we were with D'Antoni. And then we had that Carmelo trade. He had them boys humming. So I pray that this season, if we run it back with Julius, that the pick and roll is a staple of our offense. Julius is effective in finishing through contact. He's effective. So those are adjustments that need to be made. Grimes needs to know that he's an important piece of this team. And he can't defer no more. You need to be hunting your shot. You need that green light there. You need to put up not just behind the 3-point line, dribble, pull up inside the 3, drive to the basket, all of that. Yes, and Tibbs needs to make adjustments to make those things happen. There, you got it. I criticize Tibbs. I criticize. Come on, all of us. And as fans, we got to adjust and be a little bit better. The whole organization and team from top to bottom to us, we all got to make adjustments if we running this thing back. And when you show the ability to do that, all of us, the fans, we've adjusted so much that any stars looking at us, any players looking at us to come to New York, they know, because before they was making us out to be a nightmare, they were saying we were running players out of New York. You see that narrative that major media was doing? They were saying that we were running players out of New York. We were the reason nobody wanted to come here. You must be out of your flipping mind. You lost your damn mind. But what else do you expect from non-New York, non-East Coast type players? That soft shit. They talking that soft shit. That's what soft people, when you don't come from the concrete jungle. You come from out there in the woods, out there in the fields. I apologize if any of y'all from out there, but the soft as hell. That farmer shit. That's some soft stuff you seen. But we adjusted. And now they see like, yo, we gonna ride for you even more so. But we gonna let you hear when you're struggling. But we're gonna pick you up and gonna lift you up. That's why they would look, it was never a win with media. And I'm glad, because that's gonna lead me into my topic of how New York Knicks fans created the purge that ESPN is seeing right now. We couldn't win. We couldn't win with them. It was either we were running players away from New York, and that's the reason players didn't want to come to New York, is because they're the Knicks fans. Or when we chant MVP for our players who will have a good season and we giving them confidence, we pouring love on the players that are here who decided to be here, and we giving them love and we showing them support, and then they calling us delusional and saying they chanting MVP for Julius Randle in New York. Oh, they spilling into the street. Oh, what's it going to be? Are we running them away, or are we delusional and supporting them? What is it? What do you want us to do? And that's my problem with some of the fans, because some of y'all are acting that way too. If you're talking about Tibbs, or you're talking about this player and Obi didn't get the time and it's Tibbs' fault, what do you want? Do you want us to ride Julius and then win 2 out of 3 times, get into the playoffs? Or you want us to manage that time and like, what do you want? So Julius don't get that much burn. We trying to figure it out. If we start struggling, then it's fire the coach. You can't have the perfect storm. You can't. And you can't argue with results. You can't. Do you know how terrible we were for the last 25 years? What are we doing? What are we doing? So, ESPN is firing a hell of a lot of people. Max Kellerman,
This bitch.
out of here. Okay? A lot of people out of there. Jay Will,
This bitch.
out of there. I can't wait for Malika
This bitch.
Andrews to be out of there, but she's staying. That's a whole different agenda. But really quickly, before I sign out of this and begin to close this thing down, all right, I want to talk about why I think New York Knicks fans are responsible. Boy, look, y'all got me on point. That's my last point. Nah, son, nah, you wildin'. How the New York Knicks fans,
You wildin'.
how the New York Knicks fans sparked the ESPN Purge. Listen to me closely. Follow me on this. Because I talked about in one of my first 3 videos ever here on Knicks Deli. It wasn't called Knicks Deli, it was called Sheer Brilliance Knicks, SB Knicks. Shout out to the SB community, who's now the KD community, Knicks Deli community. I said it. I said the reason why I created this channel, because it was the pandemic, right? Y'all remember when the pandemic hit, the league shut down, okay? The league shut down. We didn't know what was happening. The world was crazy. The world shut down. And then the league decided to come back and have a tournament to try to finish the season. And they called it the bubble. And they invited certain teams, and they weren't really that fixated on the records. So every team almost had an opportunity to be invited. And the New York Knicks were not invited to the bubble. All right? And then that bubble was played, and then it's all of that, right? So the New York Knicks weren't allowed to be in that tournament. Me personally, I didn't want to watch none of that ish. My team wasn't in it. Y'all chose not to invite us to this bubble and show at least that we could try to compete and show some things. So I ain't watching your product. So here I am in the pandemic, unable to go to work. What do? Where do I find content for my team? So here I start scouring YouTube. And when I started scouring YouTube, like many of you did, because you didn't want to watch this bubble where our team wasn't playing, so you hop on YouTube. That was the thing. It seemed like, all right, let me go here and let me see if I can pull up some old highlights. And then I discovered, Nothing But Knicks and Seminole Boys doing phenomenal work. And they talking about the New York Knicks. And then I discovered Knicks Fan TV and CP and them boys going in, and many others. So once you started watching those content creators, it led you to other ones. And now we got our fix. All right. And ultimately what started happening was it caught on like wildfire. Knicks fans started realizing, oh man, we got shows and they're talking about the Knicks. And then CP started getting former Knicks on his channel. X-Man was on the channel. I think that was one of his first guests, man. I shared that video so much. So you telling me we don't got to watch ESPN? They ain't even showing you former Knicks players. So not only are we looking at all New York Knicks content, things that we're not seeing on major media because they don't want to cover us. They say we bad, so why show time, to a bad team? We go to YouTube and we get direct, uncut, concentrated product. That's some New York shit. I ain't always had a shirt and tie on. One there's New York, stand up. Strong Island, stand up. All right. So when we started going to YouTube, New York Knicks fans, we were consuming the content there. All right. And then something crazy happened. The New York Knicks started changing the front office. They hired Leon Rose. And then Leon Rose switched the coach out and then hired Tom Thibodeau. And then Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose, they accumulated their team. Leon Rose put together a real good, solid team. Tom Thibodeau put together a real good, solid team. Had Mike Woodson on the staff. Had his hard driving style, had a player who could come behind him and still teach the game and still hold them accountable, relatable. He brought in his vets from Chicago. Oh, it started looking up. And then he had Coach of the Year in his first year. And the New York Knicks made the playoffs that year. And we spilled into the streets after one game. And we caught the eyes of the NBA world with that. We returned back from the pandemic. It was the livest fan base in the league, to the point that your boy, your king, wanted to tweet about us. Oh, that energy in the garden is live. Yeah, Ninja, you could have had it. But it was at that moment. It was at that moment and after that they noticed there was a dip in their ratings. The largest market in the league is starting to show improvement. They're starting to win, and our numbers didn't go up. What's happening? The New York Knicks fan base is not consuming your product on ESPN. We're not. And they recognized it in the numbers. They saw it. So I tell you, the first thing they did, they removed some of the personalities that was part of their major programming. They moved Kellerman out. They moved off RJ. They moved off Beetle. They hired those personalities to trash the Knicks. They did. And I'm not crazy. I'm telling you, I saw it and I said it while it was happening. Because they knew that they needed to capture some of that audience. They wanted some of those New York eyes. Because now New York looked like they're projecting upwards. So ultimately what they started doing was they was just like, oh, listen, okay, where are those views going? We see they're going to YouTube. It seems like all of the Knicks fans are on this thing called YouTube. All right, so what's YouTube doing? And credit to SNY. Because SNY saw it also. All of these networks, and interestingly enough, I mentioned it to my best friend. My best friend's brother works at CBS. And I told him I created a YouTube channel, and I told him what I saw. I said, New York Knicks have an opportunity to have a voice. And we don't got to go through the media and wait for them to talk good about us. We can create our own shows and talk good about our own team. And he said, Shia, you're not crazy, bro. You're going to see a shift. The shift is they've noticed that a lot of people after the pandemic is consuming their entertainment through digital means. They're getting rid of their cable packages. They're finding everything they need on YouTube. Shit, what's crazy is you doing the right thing. You're hopping on YouTube. That is the new wave. And I'm telling you this much, your paranoia is not paranoia. What they're going to do next is they're going to start taking talent from YouTube and putting it on their websites, on their major platforms, because that YouTubers are creating their own built-in audiences, and they're monitoring all of you. And whoever has large audiences, they're going to pluck you and put you on their major networks. Pat McAfee. So when SNY was able to get credit to John Macri also, who part of his role was to cover the Knicks. But when SNY started bringing CP the franchise on, when Max Kellerman listened to Chuck D to bring CP the franchise on, that was part of the sample that they needed. They wanted to see how many eyes that were on CP would watch Max Kellerman. That was their in. That was their foot in the door to get the eyes of the viewers that CP had back on ESPN. And little did Max Kellerman know that that was the beginning of the end for him. They used him as a case study to see would the number of eyes jump if they brought CP on a few times. How many of those Knicks followers that he got following him will watch? And that's a small sample size for ultimately what we're doing. All of those people they fired are in the millions. I guarantee you they're going to replace them with YouTube content creators. And they're gonna give them $2 or $3 million. CP gonna be a millionaire. And the young man works hard. The young man works hard. They're gonna make that. That man is gonna see a bag. He's gonna see a bag. But that's my theory. That is the reason, and it started with the New York Knicks fan spilling into the street. It started with the New York Knicks fan spilling into YouTube and taking their eyes off of ESPN. And it started with the New York Knicks fan content creators, nothing but Knicks, Knicks Fans TV, Knicks Film School, all those brothers who ultimately have birthed out all these other channels such as Knicks Deli. And it showed that the New York Knicks fan base is not only rabid, but we're organized, we're intelligent, we talk Knicks basketball, and we're loyal. CP, the franchise, will have a show. They're going to be plucking, and they're already scouring YouTube for new talent, a younger demographic that is in tune with all of those masses and eyes that are on YouTube. That's the reason for the Purge at ESPN. They're going to keep a couple of the major figures, but that's also a reason why Stephen A. Smith and them get all those personalities to start a podcast. Stephen A. Smith tried to on YouTube. Y'all remember that? He said something real. He tried to give us the side eye. He said something like, "Oh, and y'all listen to YouTube. What's YouTube? People who didn't go to school for this. People who didn't all of this. That now he got a podcast. Now he's in the podcast game. Same people he tried to shade and get a side eye. Now he doing that. So that's why I'm saying the New York Knicks fans sparked the ESPN Purge. Mark my words. Watch when they start pulling YouTubers from different fan bases and giving them shows. It's the same thing Cablevision did once they started losing subscribers and only our grandparents had cable subscriptions. They started creating apps so you could watch your favorite shows to try to target the 18 to 25 demographic, the 25 to 40 demographic. And they're going to do the same thing. ESPN is smart. Disney is smart. They're pivoting. And they're pivoting to podcasters and YouTube. They see that's where the eyes are. Those content creators are there. And they're going to find a way to stream and connect them so that they get them before the eyes of those former audiences. They're getting rid of the older fan base. They're targeting the younger fan base. Watch. I'm laughing. I saw Marcellus Wiley, like, we trying to figure it out. We don't know what's the reason. I got the answer. I'm the answer today, goddammit. And you heard it here first. You heard it here first. That's the answer. All right? All right, folks, listen, man. I done yelled at y'all enough. It is late. It is the 12 o'clock hour. I thank y'all for rocking with me. We did this. I want to ask that, listen, y'all check me out on social, man. I not only have this YouTube, thank you for visiting the YouTube and checking my show out tonight, but also I'm on Instagram. Also, I'm on Twitter. Follow me on those platforms as well. Listen, man, our New York Knicks are in good shape. We're in good shape, but we're primed to run it back if we need to. There's value in keeping consistency and having them play together. And really, there is, bro. Julius will get better. RJ will get better. Jalen Brunson will get better. And that's what happens when you create cohesion and culture and a standard. And if we know nothing else, we know that the leader of our team, who is Jalen Brunson, he's not going to accept anything less than that. All right, so we're in good shape if we run it back, but we also financially, roster-wise, and we have the personnel in the front office to make a huge move if we are in a position to do so. We're in that position because of the front office. Okay, so follow me on those socials. In terms of my closing remarks, I really feel like the alligator lurking beneath the surface are the New York Knicks. I think the fans want the perfect storm, but we got to be patient. I think with all of the what ifs, we still made the playoffs the last 2 out of 3 years. It's a lot to be said about that, and we have to trust the process. Okay? Before I sign off, let me just hit a couple of these last comments. I apologize, I skipped over a lot of them. But let me see if I could just do like 5 more. APAP says James Dolan needs to pick you guys up for MSG Network. Listen, bro, I'm telling you, this is the way of the landscape right now. I happily accept. You know, that'll be a dream to work. Yo, did y'all see that? The MSG in Vegas, the Sphere, is finished, bro. You know what I mean? It looks good out there. He better not even think about moving a team out there. But it would be dope if there were a couple of games out there, maybe Summer League. You know? So that Sphere, he's doing big things out there. We got MSG West out there. Okay? So shout out to our owner with MSG West out there as well. Ray Gomez says, you are better than CP, the franchise. Now, listen, man, all respect to CP. You know, all respect to CP. He is doing it next level. I mean, you could see him building out his business. And there's a lot of opportunity here on YouTube, you know, but I was absolutely inspired by him, man. He got me through the pandemic. So I appreciate that. But shout out to CP as well, man. CP, the franchise, another company, man, extraordinaire. Listen, but look, there's going to come a day where people calling me the company. They already are. I'm Tips Mafia. God damn it. I take Tips tablets in the mornings with my orange juice. God damn it. So they've been calling me company man as well. But you know what? Honestly, man, it's the diversity of the opinions. It's the fact that you could hop on and check out a CP and disagree with him. You could come in here and friend or foe. I want the smoke. You know, you could go check out Knicks Media doing great work. I think it's Richie that's over there. My guy, man, I mean, I do panels. D World of Hoops does great work. If you ain't, like, listen, check out these other channels and shows. The variety is what I love. And that we all have different opinions. We all have different styles. And as a Knicks fan, man, yo, you know, you got the smorgasbord. You know, everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. So shout out to that as well. All right. Dave also says, I prefer JD Sports Talk. Yeah, JD Sports Talk on Knicks Fan TV to CP the franchise. JP keeps it real. Always good to have all the options. APAP says, my first channel on here was Knicks Fan TV. Yo, shout out to you. Yes. Ray Gomez says, good show. Keep it up. Thank you, sir. APAP says, peace. See you at the next show. Thank you all. Listen, keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. I wish that all of you have a phenomenal 4th of July, Independence Day. Be restful. Let's keep our minds towards being safe tomorrow, and the fact that we are in a country where we do have a lot of perks, a lot of privileges here. So enjoy your families, enjoy the day, and not only do we have next, but we have right now. And keep this in mind: everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. All right, y'all have a good night. I am out.